completed KPI fairly recently and decided to get together a YouTube strategy. Actually, this all feels very incestuous because I've just done KPI. I'm one of James's clients. And also I use Really Bright Media, who have got a stand out there. So you're in good company. So we, with Really Bright Media, decided that I wanted to put together a YouTube strategy. So I'd kind of done YouTube videos before, basically videoed them myself using a camera that takes tape, if you remember tapes. And there'd been no strategy to it. So put together these videos, put them up when I could, got to the end of KPI or during KPI and thought, you know, I actually want to make this a regular thing. So we put together, with Really Bright Media, 2 videos per month for YouTube that we just put up, one on the 1st and one on the 15th of each month. And then through KPI, I got a couple of ideas on how to kind of repackage, and I thought, why not just take those YouTube videos, take the YouTube ending off that we put on them, and make them into a podcast. So we did that, and the thing about being on, I mean, anyone can set up a podcast. There's a bit of technicalities to it that I got someone else to do. But you get kind of, I think when people see that you're on iTunes, you get that association with Apple, and everyone was congratulating me on having a podcast, which was great, and it's kind of like, well, anyone can do it. But what anyone can't do is, when you send through those, when you set up your podcast, if that's what you decide to do, you can, it gets approved by an actual human being. So someone will actually look at it, and there's so much stuff out there that if you do something that you really put your heart and soul into and you make good, and I don't mean spending a lot of money, I just mean being real, it gets noticed. So we got featured on the New and Noteworthy there on the first day that my podcast was approved. And then I sent out to my list of, I've got a list of 36,000 people across, a lot of them in the US, a lot in Europe as well. I sent out an email to everyone saying that I got a new podcast and they could go and download it for free. And if they liked it, would they leave a review? And if they didn't like it, don't leave a review. No, I didn't say that. And so, yeah, we got featured on New and Noteworthy just because a human being looks at these things when you set it up. And they were like, this is good quality, we want it up on there. And then, so what happened within the next few days, I got someone tagged me on Facebook and said my podcast had gone to number 2 in the US podcast charts for health. The only person ahead of me was Gillian Michaels. I don't know if you know her from The Biggest Loser. And the one in 3rd place was Tara Stiles, who's a yoga expert. So I was in between Gillian Michaels and Tara Stiles, and I just thought I'd hang out there for a while. And so we hit number 2 in Australia, UK, and Canada as well. And it's amazing that, you know, all this technology is free.
Yeah, and your business as a result has gone completely bonkers. The thing that we discussed the other day is that your product for prospects is actually now quite a big business. It's right. Like, you shouldn't really be able to run your business on a product for prospects, and yet you can. Yeah,
that's been one of the major things for KPI is realizing what I thought was my core product isn't expensive enough. So we're now putting together retreats and certification courses. Yeah.
Yeah, fantastic. So what's it been like actually going through this in 12 months, going from, you know, doing your thing to having worldwide fans?
Right. It's been amazing, actually, and I think when you're doing things online, there's a lot of connection there, but as you may know as entrepreneurs, especially if you're focusing on the internet stuff, as I have been for a little while, it can get pretty lonely. And KPI has really connected me to an amazing network of really cool people, and it's like an instant network of great people. And I'm the kind of the person that, if you mention networking, you know, it's like, oh, there's a networking event, a little bit of sick comes up. I'm like, So, and now here I am talking about networks.